Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sitting beside a guy who is possibly the best rock and roll drummer on earth.
On drums, John Bonham, Moby Dick! John Bonham! John Bonham! John Bonham! 130 pounds of glory, John Bonham! John comes from a circus family.
It seemed like there was nothing that John Bonham couldn't do. He just could do everything. And in a way that was so powerful.
It must have taken you years to learn to play like that, did it?
Not really.
And you'd be like, oh my God, listen to this. And that's it.
Well, he was actually better than anybody else. And he was simply better. He could do things other people couldn't do, and he had an incredible sound and an amazing feel.
He was confident. He wasn't loud. I mean, he got louder as the bigger bass drums that he used to order from Ludwig in Chicago. Once he got free drums from Ludwig, there was no holding him back. He just used to get bigger and bigger bass drums, and sometimes two. But we used to take the one bass drum away if we went out to get a cup of tea. If he got two bass drums set up, we used to steal the one. Because he could do more on one bass drum than anybody can do on two.
To me, hands down, John Bonham's the best rock drummer ever. The style and the sound was so identifiable to one person.
Cozy, who do you admire as drummers around the world?
And I think everybody's favourite rock drummer has always been John Bonham. He certainly was mine, and he was a good friend as well. So he's very sorely missed. Nobody's ever really come up with the kind of power and the playing expression that he's done. I mean, there's John Bonham's way up there, and then everybody else is way down, in my opinion.
John Bonham, God, he's still like at the top of my list, and he's at the top of many drummers' lists.
Bonzo's favourite music was actually the slower Motown stuff. It was either James Brown or the real sweet soul music, which he loved. This is why all those bands that sort of say, or supposedly sound like us, never get it right. Because it's all, bash, bash, you know, and there's never all this, if you listen to what Bonzo did, you hear all this little stuff going on.
I'd like to say at this point that I think football's a load of bollocks.
Before retiring to their hotels for hijinks, which for Led Zepp drummer the late John Bonham often meant a spot of guerrilla warfare.
4 o'clock in the morning, there was this huge explosion. I thought I'd been attacked by some Arab terrorists. The room was full of smoke, and Bonzo, followed by Billy and Jonesy, came through the door, and when the shock died down, it turned that they put a quarter of a stick of dynamite under my bed and blew the whole lot to bits.
I mean, John Bonham, Led Zeppelin's drummer, was just a nice, quiet lad who looked more like a pipe fitter than a rock star before he hopped on the Zeppelin. And then his chums started busting up hotel rooms and throwing TVs out of windows. And John says,
to come from the sort of background we were in, and when we first came to America, I mean, I used to see things here, I just couldn't believe it. So I used to just go,
we would go for the family holiday in the south of France. I remember one incident, he disappeared for about 36 hours, I think. Mum was worried sick, didn't have, no cell phones back then. Apparently he bumped into Oliver Reed. Oh, I know this wonderful little British pub down the road, John. So that was it, they were off, and then met up with Ringo and Peter Sellers. He'd shaved Ringo's head and eyebrows off, and then got into a food fight in a Chinese restaurant in Monte Carlo, and were arrested. Now, could you imagine the cop telling his superintendent, who do you have? He goes, well, I have the drummer with Led Zeppelin, I have the drummer with the Beatles, Inspector Clouseau, Peter Sellers, and Oliver Reed. Have you been drinking, young man? That was that version of the Rat Pack.
I think it's fair to say there hasn't been a drummer anywhere near him since in rock, certainly.
No, absolutely not. No. I think every drummer would be the first to admit that.
There's never been anybody any better. He's just an amazing musician. And so sensitive that all the brash, turmoil that was around us, it was hard.